Wireless earbuds are everywhere. You can opt for super expensive Sony or Apple products or pick up some sub-$50 Chinese earbuds. My experience with Bluetooth earbuds has been downright pathetic. I have the Apple AirPods Pro, and while I like the noise cancellation they provide, the AirPod Pros are full of bugs. Connection will drop randomly, one earbud will disconnect while another won't, the case won't charge, the earbuds will not turn off when placed in the charging case, and don't get me started on the fit and design. So, my opinion is that unless you absolutely need to have some form of noise cancellation in a Bluetooth earbud, I think you should wait before spending upwards of $250 on Apple or Sony products. Several weeks ago, a Chinese company called Vankyo sent me their new sports Bluetooth earbuds S600 for free to review. These cost about $50 on Amazon, and you can currently apply a 20% discount. Is the S600 a reasonable purchase for those who want a Bluetooth convenient feature without the premium price? The S600 has a few notable features. First, it comes with a charging case that purportedly offers an additional 40 hours of playtime on top of the earbud's 5 hours. The S600 has touch controls on both earbuds. You can listen to one earbud while the other is turned off. The earbuds have IPX8 rating, so they are water and sweat proof. The S600 also comes with Bluetooth 5.0. The S600 comes with 4 silicone ear tips and a USB-C charging cable. The ear tips are fairly comfortable and do not cause fatigue when used for about 2 to 3 hours. The charging case is plastic and feels a bit flimsy, but does fully enclose the earbud. There are 4 LEDs on the front of the charging case which indicate charge level. The earbuds have a built-in ear hook. This is rubber and quite pliable. From my experience, the ear hooks are very comfortable and barely noticeable. The S600 is light and easily fit within my ears. The ear hooks keep the earbuds secure even while jogging on rough terrain. Connecting to sources is very simple. Once you open the case, the earbuds will immediately connect to the last device you paired to. If you disconnect from the last device, the S600 will automatically enter pair mode. The touch controls are fairly intuitive. Volume up is controlled on the left and volume down on the right ear tips. You can play and pause music on either. Skipping back is done with a double tap on the left and skipping forward a double tap on the right. Overall, the fit and finish is perfectly agreeable for this price range. The earbuds are comfortable enough for about 2 to 3 hours. The ear hooks are very helpful in keeping the S600 in place during workouts. The touch controls work fine, though they are frankly rudimentary. I wish the charging case was a bit more sturdy, but it does its job. To test the S600, I paired it to my Apple iPhone 12 Max and Windows 10 PC. I played music using Amazon Music HD. For music listening, I kept the S600 around 70%. There were, however, occasions when I had to increase to 100%. I think that the S600 gets loud enough, but if you listen to music at very unhealthy volumes, this earbud is not for you. I also watched some YouTube videos to determine lag. Right off the bat, there are 2 issues. First, the S600 had a slight hum that is barely noticeable when music is not playing. Sometimes I hear it, sometimes I don't. When audio does play, that hum is not audible. Second, there is some lag when watching videos. The lag is not severe, but if you're paying close attention, you will notice it. The overall sound signature of the S600 seems to be fairly V-shaped. The bass and treble are emphasized. However, I was surprised to find that the mids are not muddy or distorted. In Mountains by Hans Zimmer, the S600 immediately rendered the sub-bass rumble. I think that detail was about neutral. The rumble seemed to have natural decay. When the crescendo hit at the middle of the song, the organ cut through the mix, but did meld with other instruments. The rolling thunder effect at this point was obvious and elevated. There was no hint of distortion or muddiness. In Conquer by Overwork, the S600 recreated the rolling marble effect at the beginning, but did not pan that sound. Instead, the sound was dead center, which is not an accurate presentation of this effect. There are multiple drums in this track, and the S600 presented all of them. The drums tended to meld with each other and were clearly elevated. They had a big thumping sound. I listened to several hip-hop songs like Pure Water, Loop Attack, Reel It In, and Uproar. The S600 recreated the subwoofer effect without making it overbearing. However, the mid-bass was definitely elevated. This combination made it appear as though a subwoofer was only feet away from me and cranked up. The mids were clear and retained their characteristic sparkle. The S600 has sibilant mids, and they sound a bit shouty. In Orla Gartland's song Why Am I Like This, the track has natural grain and sibilants mixed in. The S600 elevated the sibilants by a few decibels. It remained under my personal pain threshold, but at maximum volume, the experience was difficult to maintain for more than a few moments. At more reasonable volumes, say around 60%, the sibilance was not harsh, though obviously pushed forward. The guitar and drums sounded fairly natural, though the drums did sound louder than the guitar. When the second vocalist appears at the end of the song, she was fairly clear in the right ear tip and seemed to be a few steps behind the primary vocalist. In Want You Back by Haim, the S600 again emphasized the sibilance of the primary vocalist. It was just below my pain threshold, but elevated nonetheless. When the two backup vocalists started singing, their individual tonalities were distinct and separate. However, when the instruments played at full, the backup singers melded into one. When the instruments played softly, the voices were again clear. The drums, guitar, piano, and bass appeared to have correct timbre. The drums were a bit louder than the other instruments. I listened to many other tracks by Young the Giant, Guy Clark, Michael Jackson, and a random selection of artists that Amazon recommended. My experience was consistent. Sibilance was elevated for both male and female vocals. Primary vocalists were always clear, and instruments tended to have fairly accurate timbre. However, the vocals seemed just a bit metallic because of the sibilance. In other words, I would not say that the vocals on the S600 are smooth. The S600 has a slight emphasis in treble that is far short of harsh or peaky. In Scherzo for X-Wings, the S600 rendered the brass and horns with their characteristic energy. They cut through the other instruments and had a bit more energy than they really should have, I think. The timpani was a bit elevated. Instruments melded and did not sound muddy. In Flight from the City, the S600 rendered the piano as if it was about 5 feet away. The bassier notes were elevated but surprisingly did not distort. I could hear the electric buzz effect and some of the popping and sizzling that is the bass layer of this track. The cello sounded fairly smooth and melded with the piano. I could hear the creaking of wood on the pianist's bench and the weight of the cello being shifted. In Take 5 by the Take Brubeck Quartet, the S600 presented the piano in the right, the drum kit in the left, the saxophone center, and the bass layered somewhere behind. The drums and bass were elevated and melded with the piano. The saxophone was clear and cut through the other instruments. The saxophone was not harsh, but it did seem to have a bit more energy than what I've heard on neutral headphones. Soundstage on the S600 is about average. It will not impress those who have heard the Tin Hi-Fi T2. I would say that the S600 is close to the Blonde BL03 soundstage. As for detail retrieval, the S600 does a fairly subpar job. Obvious details are present, but not always up front. Micro details are sometimes audible, but often missing. The elevated bass is probably a contributing factor to this. I use the song New Light by Kazuki to determine detail retrieval. This song has layers of details, including children playing, wind, rustling of grass, synth, and footsteps. I count the number of footsteps I can hear in the first 60 seconds. I will not belabor the point. The S600 rendered the lowest amount of footsteps of any headphone or IEM I have ever used for this test. I heard a whopping maybe 4 to 5 footsteps, and a few of those were close calls. Overall, the S600 has a bassy sound that is more or less V-shaped. Orchestral and classical music probably would not suit this earbud, but hip-hop and pop probably work best. Of significant consideration is the sibilance that this S600 emphasizes. It is rare that I hear a headphone or earbud that emphasizes sibilance in both male and female vocals, but the S600 does. As I said before, the sibilance does not seem to be harsh, at least to me, but it is clearly non-neutral and may be fatiguing to some. There's not much to say about the S600. It does its job. There are a few aspects about this earbud that I think are fairly impressive given the price. First, I like the built-in ear hook. It is far more secure than the Apple or Sony designed Bluetooth earbuds. Second, connection to a paired device is fast. Once your devices know each other, you only have to open the case and pop the earbuds into your ears. Third, the 5-hour battery life for the S600 seems to be about accurate. I have gotten close to 5 hours using moderate volume. I also had to recharge the case only a few times in the several weeks I have used the S600. But, let's be honest, the S600 is not an audiophile product. You're not getting premium build or accessories. You're getting a device that has a very specific use. This brings us to value. I think $50 is really the limit of what I would pay for the S600. With the current 20% discount, the price comes down to about $40, and that's a fair MSRP. The S600 seems to be aiming at the casual workout market. Those who need bass and treble to power through workouts might enjoy the S600 sound signature. If you like thumping bass, then the S600 has you covered. The S600 is clear in the mids but has unimpressive detail retrieval. It's below average, at least in that regard. The treble is marginally emphasized but not harsh or distorted. I think if you need a wireless earbud while exercising, then the S600 is a fine option. But this is not a product for those looking for audiophile quality sound. Indeed, the overall Bluetooth performance is nothing special. The nominal noise in the signal is a dead giveaway. If you need a fairly comfortable, affordable, sweat-proof wireless earbud, then the S600 I think is a good option, at least in this price range. But if you want something for casual audiophile listening, I think you will be disappointed with the performance here. I think that the S600 is value for those who need a secure fitting wireless earbud while working out and want a bassy presentation. I will emphasize, however, that $50 is the absolute limit I would pay for this product. Its performance does not justify a higher price, and arguably a lower price is more appropriate. Hence, if you find the S600 for around $30 to $40, I think it may be a decent purchase for the very specific need I mentioned a moment ago.